Hello and welcome to Deakin's Virtual Open Day. I'm Associate Professor Sally Topman-Marshall. I'm the convener of the International Relations and Middle East Studies programs here at Deakin. And I'm delighted to have you with us today as we talk about our programs in Politics and Policy Studies, International Relations and Middle East Studies. We'll also be hosting a live Q&A session straight after this presentation to answer any questions that you might have. So today we're going to have a look at what degree should I choose. Politics and Policy Studies, International Relations and Middle East Studies in more depth. We'll also look at our work integrated learning, opportunities for students, some of our student success stories we'll see along the way, and also talk about graduate outcomes. The biggest question that we tend to get on Open Day is which degree should I choose and what's the difference between the Bachelor of Arts and the Bachelor of International Studies. So in both degrees, you can major in International Relations, Politics and Policy Studies and Middle Eastern Studies. You can also take them as minors and as electives. The biggest difference between the two courses or degrees is the international overseas experience component. In the Bachelor of International Studies, this is compulsory. It means that in that degree, you have to undertake study tours, internships, student exchanges, or a combination of those. Within the Bachelor of Arts, those are optional. So you can still undertake study tours and internships and exchanges and study abroad, but you don't have to. It's up to you. So when you're making the decision about which degree to do, it really depends on you. It depends on whether you want to definitely go overseas and go on a study tour or an exchange or a study abroad, or perhaps you're not sure and you might like to think about it or have it as an option. And really that is the major differences between those two programs. The Bachelor of Studies, International Studies degree is a little bit more focused in some ways. There's a fewer number of majors that you can do. The Bachelor of Arts does offer more majors. So I'd encourage you to look through the university handbook and see what majors you're interested in and see which degrees they're offered in. But for our purposes today, the three majors that we're talking about are all offered in both of those courses. So next thing to do is once you've chosen your degree is to choose your major. And today, as I said, we're looking at those three that are listed there on the slide. But first, I want you to meet Angela Stajova. She did a Bachelor of International Studies, majoring in Politics and Policy Studies. Now, Angela says that Deakin University has been by far the best academic decision I've ever made. Not only was I able to learn in a welcoming and supportive environment, my courses also provided me with incredible practical opportunities to further enhance my studies. I enjoyed working with Victoria's local multicultural community and was able to gain a wide range of real-world experience before graduating. So Angela did the Bachelor of International Studies, majoring in Politics and Policy Studies. So let's see what's in that Politics and Policy Studies. So Politics and Policy Studies as a major will enhance your understanding of the big issues in the world today and assist you to develop the skills to make a difference in your lifetime. We investigate the challenges posed to Australia and the world by climate change, asylum seekers and refugees, development, inequality, political parties, and new social movements. We examine the ideas behind the policy and the rhetoric. We look for globally different solutions, investigate how policy lessons are learned, and assess the impact on domestic and global politics. We examine how and why some people are able to exercise power better than others, and assess ideas and opportunities for addressing the pressing social, economic, and environmental issues of our time. So studying Politics and Policy Studies, you'll look at things like how to understand public policy. You'll look at media and politics and campaign strategies, politics of development, asylum challenges in Australia and Asia, and critical issues in Middle East politics, and many, many other things. Politics and Policy Studies is one of those important majors that is useful regardless of what you do as a career. The knowledge that you gain and the skills that you develop will help you in absolutely any job that you are interested in. Related to into Politics and Policy Studies is international relations. International relations provides you with a better understanding of global political systems and its relationships. You'll examine some of those big global pressing issues like human rights and some of those key concepts in international relations, including, as I said before, for the politics and policy studies major, critical issues in Middle East politics. There are some of the units listed there on the slide that you can see. International Relations major also is known for featuring its Model UN, where students interact on whatever the pressing topic of the day is. We've had topics around climate change, asylum seekers, refugees, Iran nuclear issue, and nuclear proliferation more broadly. And students get to, have a hands-on experience with diplomacy. We also, for instance, in international relations, run a study tour to the United States, where you'll get to, be more heavily involved in what's happening in that space. Oh, this is Molly Dalrymple. Molly did a Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Law. She majored in Middle East Studies. Molly says, the politics units at Deakin are not just theory, but give you the chance to apply your skills in practical assessments. I've been involved in interactive assessments such as political online simulations and Model United Nations, which were incredible learning opportunities. And it's a big advantage to have as part of my degree when applying for future jobs. Molly talks about the Model UN that I just spoke about. She also did the Middle East politics simulation, which I'll talk about in a sec. But certainly, I should have mentioned perhaps earlier that the Bachelor of Arts and the Bachelor of International Studies also combine nicely with other degrees, such as the Bachelor of Laws or a Bachelor of Commerce. And certainly, these majors are all available in that Arts and International Studies component of those combined degrees as well. Middle East Studies. Now, this is near and dear to my heart, given that I teach Middle East Studies, but Middle East Studies provides a comprehensive understanding of the events and issues shaping one of the world's most politically complex and fascinating regions. The core units pursue a variety of strategies to unpack the history and systems of the Middle East, leading students towards developing an improved comprehension of why situations, such as the Syrian civil war or the Iran nuclear issue or the Israel-Palestine conflict, how they, present the region and the wider world with so many challenges. We explore topics such as media representation, human rights and humanitarian intervention, as well as learning about the specific states in the region. It's very, deep as well as broad in its coverage. We also have innovative assessment practices that include one of the world's largest political role-play simulations, and this will support your learning journey. And Molly mentioned that in what she was saying on her slide. You can also see there that there's some of our students in front of the Treasury building in Petra. We run a Middle East study tour that goes to the Middle East, funnily enough. And I'll talk about more of that in a second, but certainly there's a hands-on component to all three of the majors that I'm talking about today. And this really leads, nicely to work integrated learning. One of the things that we really like to focus on here at Deakin is to make sure that our graduates have work opportunities as they study, so that they have the skills necessary when they leave the university and start their careers. And internships, study abroad and exchanges, and short-term tours and programs are all very important aspect of this work integrated learning. What we want to make sure that you do is to build your experience and improve your employability by getting out of the classroom. So you might study abroad for a trimester, you might volunteer abroad on a short-term project, complete an internship or like a work experience sort of setting. We have lots of international study tours that relate to your degree. I mentioned the Middle East Studies one and the American study tour. We also have study tours to Japan and various places around the world. A lot of students also like to do an immersion program to improve their language. Here at Deakin, we offer Arabic, Indonesian, Chinese, and Spanish as our languages. You can also do other language programs cross-institutionally. But we offer deep immersion programs to support those 4 languages that we offer at Deakin. So practical experience is really important, and we have students intern with a host of organisations in Australia and overseas. And as I mentioned before, a lot of students choose to take an international experience as part of their Bachelor of International Studies or their Bachelor of Arts. So students will often have placements with government organisations or international non-government organisations and not-for-profits. Students have engaged in industry placements in the private sector, as well as, I guess, across embassy and consulate internships in Australia. We've had students do trade association internships, as well as ones with humanitarian and community development organisations. And I already mentioned the global study tours and in-country language programs. But there are lots of opportunities for students doing a Bachelor of Arts or a Bachelor of International Studies to get some practical experience. And certainly for students doing politics and policy studies, international relations and Middle Eastern studies, we have a lot of, I guess, practical experience that relates and connects very closely to those courses. We also have Deakin Talent, which will help support students as they, I guess, explore their career opportunities and build their skills and experience. And Deakin Talent helps all students at Deakin, but certainly we encourage our students in international relations, Middle East studies, and politics and policy studies to work closely with Deakin Talent to help them, I guess, build their resume and search out those, I guess, employer connections going forward. And lots of our Deakin graduates, I guess, have successfully navigated university and ended up with careers in a variety of sort of areas. We have Deakin graduates working in places like Oxfam, UNHCR, Save the Children, AusAid. And in fact, on that slide there, you can see some of our students who are on Middle East study tour that we took to Israel, standing with the then Australian ambassador to Israel, Dave Sharma, who happens also to be a Deakin graduate. He did the Master of International Relations. So it's come full circle with our students exploring opportunities with our former students in careers that they'd like to one day have. We have students working in jobs that use their discipline-specific skills. So, you know, things like Department of Defense, Foreign Affairs, and, you know, human rights and things like that. But also students who are working in jobs that use generic and transferable skills that they gain during their degree, whether that is in, you know, journalism or multicultural affairs, teaching, education space. So there's, I guess, lots of different areas that our graduates go. I can't provide you a comprehensive list because everybody's journey is quite different. Now, if you are interested in these courses, and I hope you are, then you can apply to Deakin. School leavers should apply through VTAC, and non-school leavers can apply directly to Deakin. And the details are there on the slide. So thank you for joining us. Please join our Q&A session next. We also have a live chat available all day, and it's also available during the time period that the Q&A is on. You might also want to download the Bachelor of International Studies flyer that will sort of explain more. But if you'd like to learn more, you can explore the Virtual Open Day website. You'll find additional information. And hopefully I'll get to chat to you in the Q&A that's about to kick off in a second.